We're going to be talking about Star Wars toys and more next on Retro Serial. Hey everyone, welcome back to the program. I'm your host, DNC. Glad you could be joining me. Today we have a return guest, my friend Jason. In our previous conversation, we talked about underground music of the 80s. But in this conversation, what happened is we were going to talk about Star Wars, the movies, and we ended up talking about Star Wars, the action figures and the toy line, and also a bunch of other toy lines that we had or wanted, all that stuff. So it's a really good program. I hope you enjoy it. And now let's go to the interview. Wait, but before we go to the interview, let me just encourage you to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, and share it on your favorite social media. I think those are all the things that help us out here on the channel. It would really mean a lot to me. These are small steps for you, but it really means a lot to us here on the program. And if you want to go that one extra step and donate some of your hard-earned cash to this channel, I will leave a link to our Buy Me a Coffee page where you can donate there. So thank you very much. And now let's go to the interview conversation. All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Retro Serial. I'm your host, DNC. I'm here with my friend Jason. How you doing, Jason?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Good. I'm glad to have you back. Our last conversation, we talked about underground music of the 80s, late 70s, 80s,
Yep.
and 90s. But before we did that, we had a conversation that got lost, and we talked about Star Wars.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one.
That was a great conversation. I'm a little hesitant to have the conversation again because I've already done a couple episodes on Star Wars, but the conversation was so good that I don't know if we can recapture what we said or just have a new conversation.
We're going to have to start from scratch.
Yes, for sure. So let's start. We're going to talk about Star Wars and maybe trail off onto some other things. We were debating before the show whether or not to talk about Star Wars or talk about war movies. Something like that. But they're kind of, science fiction war movie, isn't it? Star Wars is.
Yeah, it definitely has war scenes in it, per se.
Right.
So. But I think there's a lot of allegories in it.
For sure. So how old were you when Star Wars came out?
Well, what was it, 77?
Yeah.
So I would have been, do we know what month it came out?
Summer.
I was 8.
You were 8 years old.
I was 8 years old.
When it came out. And I was 4 when it came out. I think 4. I know I was 4, so I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on the year or whatever.
So did you see it when you were 4?
I saw it when I was 4.
Really?
I know that I was 4 when it came out. But I turned 4 in August, so it...
4 to 5.
No, I was 4.
Oh, you were 4.
I know
that's
for
right.
a fact
that's right.
I was... I know for a fact I was 4 because it actually had a huge impact on me as a kid.
That's pretty progressive for a 4-year-old, man. I was stuck on Sesame Street at 4 years old.
Well, it's not like I bought the tickets. It's not like I was like...
You drove down, got your own popcorn.
Yeah, my mom took me to see the show. So what did you think when Star Wars came out? Did it change your life forever or what?
Well, I mean, we do hopefully, grow and mature in our lives, but yes, it did. It had a great impact on my life, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So, there are a lot of stuff happening now with Star Wars. The Mandalorian, I think, is a great show.
I've actually, okay, I have to be upfront here on this one.
Okay.
Over the years, as I've gotten older, okay, so I'm not a Star Wars fanboy anymore.
Right.
That type of thing. However, I do like The Mandalorian. That's a pretty good show.
I like The Mandalorian too. I liked Rogue One.
Rogue One, definitely. It was a darker.
It was
a little darker movie. So.
I thought Solo was good. In spite of everybody hating it. I don't know why everybody hated it, but I actually really enjoyed it.
I ended up seeing Solo, and my impression was I it had gotten such bad reviews that I was kind of like going, eh. But you know what? I thought it was kind of a cool movie.
I thought
I
so
didn't
too.
have an issue with Solo.
Now, you probably didn't see Solo because I encouraged you to, though. You probably just kind of saw it because I kept encouraging you to see it. I'm like, dude, you can't listen to the bad
Yeah,
reviews.
a friend of mine had it, and he
It's-
said, "Hey, you want to watch this? You know, there's something to watch." I said, "You know what? I never saw it, so yeah, go ahead, turn it on,
Right.
and let's watch it."
But the new movies are total crap, in my opinion.
I'm not a fan, especially the last one. I'm just not a fan.
I'm not a fan either.
What I thought would have been funny is, the end scene of the last movie, and see, I don't even know the gal's name. What's her name?
Ray.
Bray,
Yeah.
and the Kylo Ren.
Uh-huh.
Okay, remember at the very end where like she heals him?
Yeah.
And I thought it would have been a good comedy ending. Then he heals her, and then she heals him, and it goes back and forth. I thought that would have been
For
humorous.
eternity.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, it
I wasn't a big fan of it.
it was-
I hate to say it, but I wasn't a good fan.
It was such a letdown. It was such a letdown.
I thought so too.
Because, I mean, as a Star Wars fan, of the originals at least, I loved the originals, at least the first two, and I liked Jedi. Sorry,
I
and
thought the Ewoks blew it.
yeah, everything up to the Ewoks for sure blew it. But the barge scene was great. That was all.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was all really
That was
good. Just if you could cut the Ewoks out, if they would have went with their original idea, which was Wookiees. That's what they originally were going to do.
That was I had heard that.
Yeah,
actually.
but Wookiees, they're technologically advanced, and they needed some primitive people, so he switched it Wookiee Ewok. He switched it around and made him short. But if they hadn't have done that, I think it would have been a really good show.
I thought they kind of in the face. I thought they kind of looked like a Shih Tzu or a Lhasa Apso dog.
Right.
That's what it looked like to me.
Right. Well, let's actually dive into some Star Wars toys, because we were gonna on our last conversation that we had, we talked about Star Wars, but at the very end we talked about Star Wars toys, and we were kind of wrapping it up there.
I was a fanatic.
You were a fanatic.
I was. Oh my gosh. Yeah, when Kenner started releasing all the toys and everything, I was there. The action figures,
Yeah.
And odd ones. Stuff they didn't. Maybe you had to get through the mail, like some of the action figures, like Boba Fett. You had proof of purchase. You cut off the back, sent it in, and you got your.
Did you have the one with that shot?
My friend did.
Oh, he did, huh?
It actually, yeah, and I guess those were very limited due to the fact
Yeah.
that some children were choking on the missile.
Yeah. Well,
basically.
I think what happened is they had
Maybe a choking hazard.
Yeah, maybe a choking hazard. Wimps. Survival of the fittest. Come on, bring it back. No, it's a tragedy. I don't mean to make fun of anybody's tragedy like that. But what happened was Battlestar Galactica had one.
I had
at
a
the
bunch
same
of those
time.
toys too.
And the Battlestar Galactica one shot out.
The Cylon Raider.
And a kid swallowed it and choked.
Oh, that's
And-
the one.
And then because of that, I believe because of that, the Boba Fett was recalled and not allowed to have the thing shoot out.
I actually had the Cylon Raiders that did shoot out.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Oh man, I would have loved to have those Cylon Raiders. That would have been
Yeah,
that would have
and,
been
and
awesome.
what was the other one that looked like a ripoff from the X-Wing? What is that called? The Viper or something
I don't
like
remember any of the names for those. I was probably as far as TV shows go.
that? No, that wasn't Buck Rogers. Did you say Buck Rogers?
No.
Battlestar
Galactica.
Oh, okay.
Did I say Buck Rogers?
I don't. We'll have to review and see if he said Buck Rogers.
I meant Battlestar Galactica.
Okay. Well, I may have been imagining it.
Pull this a little bit more, just
We need
kind
a little
of
closer there.
this way, just in case. I just want to make sure we get good sound and
This
everything.
is pretty impromptu, folks. So
Yeah.
we're just,
It's all right. I mean, we have these conversations all the time, just not on camera.
Right.
So we're just having this conversation on camera. So tell me about Battlestar Galactica. Did you have the action figures too for Battlestar Galactica?
for some reason, I don't remember the action figures, but I remember the actual little ships.
The ship. Did
Yeah.
your Star Wars toys fit in the ships?
I don't think so. I think they were smaller. It seems to me.
That would have been.
But I may be wrong on that. But it's been
It's been a while. That was always
I'd say
so
it's
cool.
been,
I remember
it's been 40 some odd years.
I remember as a kid the action figure like if it crossed over, it was so cool to be able to cross over, like play with one toy from one universe and another toy from another universe. And I never had the Battlestar Galactica or the Buck Rogers one. They actually had some Buck Rogers toys too, but I saw them in the store. I wanted it really bad, but I actually never got it.
I always wanted to beat up Twiggy.
Yeah.
That robot was obnoxious.
Well, we won't talk about what it looked like, but we all know what that toy looked like. Yeah, I hated that Twiggy as well. But Battlestar Galactica was my favorite television show as far as a sci-fi television show goes back then.
Yeah, mine
when
too.
I was a kid.
Yeah,
I liked it way better than Buck Rogers, even though Buck Rogers was pretty. I mean, I liked it when I was a kid, but probably now I don't know how it holds up.
I think Battlestar Galactica. How do we get onto Battlestar Galactica?
All right,
okay. I think that was more of it had more of a serious tone to it.
Yeah.
Lauren Green played the commander, and there was a number of other actors in it, but it had more of a serious tone to it. Where Buck Rogers, I don't know. Buck Rogers seemed to be more cartoony,
children friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did seem more to be children friendly. They only had one season of Battlestar Galactica 2. That was it. That was just one season.
Did you ever see the remake on it, the movie?
You mean
Wasn't there?
No, I don't think there's. I don't know if there's a movie. There's a television show remake.
Was it maybe it was the TV show remake?
Yeah.
Did
they might have ended it with a movie, but I know there's a television show where they had Starbuck played by a woman. That one.
That may have been it. That may have been it. But that was
never
more...
watched it. I've heard great reviews. I've heard everybody, and I don't mean to sound anti-feminist or anything, but I just couldn't get her onto it. I could not bring myself to watch Starbuck be played by a female character, and Boomer or whatever the
his cohort
was played by that person too.
Let me think here. Yeah, that seemed to be more of, if memory serves me right, that was more like a Rogue One episode. It was darker, because it had to deal with the survival of the human race, and the Cylons were trying to exterminate and stuff like that. But yeah, I remember seeing it, and I don't remember if it was TV or a made-for-TV movie or something like that.
It was actually written by an LDS person. I don't know if you knew that or not. A Mormon wrote it.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, and
there's a factoid.
If you watch it now, you can see the Mormon themes coming out of it big time. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. With I can't remember. There are a lot of Mormon themes that are involved in that show. It's kind of
I remember the little blip in regarding the LDS Mormons in Starship Troopers.
Oh, yeah. Fort Joe Smith. The outpost of Fort Joe Smith.
And the bugs were just body parts everywhere,
right.
With the bugs attacking and everything. But, that was from memory. That seemed like to be a pretty good remake. I would have to watch it again to solidify my opinion on it. But
I haven't watched it for a while, but I did watch it when I was older. And I mean, I'm in my late 40s right now.
Right.
So... to watch it again at 25 is an adult perspective on it, but that's so long ago. Even that is so long ago that I just remember that there was a Mormon theme to it. I was such a big fan that I actually named my dog Daggett, one of my dogs.
Oh, that was the robot dog.
The robot dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like K9 from Doctor Who.
And I actually named one of my dogs Apollo.
Did you really?
I did, and not Apollo after the sun god. Apollo after,
and not Apollo Creed from Rocky.
Not Apollo Creed from Rocky, but I actually named him Apollo from Battlestar Galactica.
Okay.
Yeah, there were 2 seasons, by the way, of Buck Rogers, as I recall, but the second season went downhill really quickly.
Okay.
It was.
It was kind of slapsticky, cheesy.
It was very...
Not slapstick, but cheesy.
It was very cheesy. Disco in the, It was very disco.
It reflected the culture of the time, that's for sure.
Well, yes. So what kind of toys did you have for Star Wars?
Oh, gosh, man. Well, of course, the action figures, the action figure box.
Which box? The one that it all fit in? Was it the Darth Vader one?
No, it wasn't the Darth Vader one. It was the square box.
Oh, okay. All right.
With the vinyl covering over it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it had the snap opening. Gosh, what else did I have? I had the Death Star playset set.
Mm-hmm.
I had the Millennium Falcon playset.
Yeah.
And a little quick factoid on that one. I ended up selling all these things to a collector, and I did okay with it. I think I could have made more, but at the time it was one of those things I needed the money. If my Millennium Falcon wasn't in the greatest of shape, okay, it had been well played with and everything, and it had been sitting in a garage, and it was dusty and everything, and I tried to clean it up as much as possible. But if any of you have it, even if it's not in good shape, if it has the ball, what was that with that Luke, the drone, the little drone?
Yeah, and I remember because I had one.
It was
too,
on a
and it came with
little string. Yep,
and the little ball
that's it.
Came with that.
If it has that, it commands a higher price.
Yeah, for sure.
Mine didn't have it.
Bummer. That's a bummer. I had the Millennium Falcon too,
Yep.
but I was an idiot because you know how you opened up the back of it, right? And then on the back of it, like you had on the inside, you had that cardboard around it. You remember the cardboard around it, and then you had the gun, sitting in the gun, and then you had the little thing where you pulled it off. You could put people under there to pretend they're hiding.
Yes.
And then the little thing in the gun. But remember around the back, it had the cardboard around, and then you really couldn't walk your guy up to the front from the inside. You had to pull him out.
You had to open the cockpit.
So I tore out the inside of it. So to make more room for Star Wars toys, because I'm like, this ship's way bigger in the show. It's not just this little one room here. There's tons of rooms.
Yeah, they had
there.
the back peel that came off. It was just the plastic top that came off, and then you had that's where you had I'll call it the lightsaber ball drone, whatever we want to call it. And then it had I think it had the table where Chewbacca and C-3PO were playing chess.
Yeah.
And then it just had the cockpit that opened up.
Right. But between where the cockpit is and that playset is,
I don't remember that, but it was blocked off.
It was blocked off. It's just it was only blocked off by a little cardboard cutout that looked like a spaceship kind of thing.
I think
I tore that out.
Okay.
So that I could fit more people in there and pretend more that it was. Anyway. But we gotta stop.
I had the X-wing.
Okay, but wait, you passed over something because I played with this one time. I had a friend who also had a lot of Star Wars toys at the time, but like he moved away, and then then I'd visit him, and he'd have more Star Wars toys and stuff like that. You had the Death Star, and did you have the thing that squeezed them?
Yep, the trash compactor, and it had little pieces of foam, and it had the plastic trash compactor monster in it.
Oh yeah.
I had that.
I only played with that I think one time when I was a kid because my friend had it.
Okay.
He moved away, but it was close enough to like we could visit him sometimes.
Yeah.
And anyway, I really wanted that thing so bad, but then they eventually moved away for good. So,
a buddy of mine, he had the Cantina playset.
Oh, I remember that they did have a Cantina.
They had a Cantina playset, and he had, or did I have that? The Dewback. Remember the big lizards?
Oh yeah, okay.
Yep. And
the big lizards.
Yep, I had that. And the X-wing, the TIE fighter, Darth Vader's TIE fighter. I had that one.
Oh wow!
And
your parents must have been well off.
had the full size Boba Fett.
Oh yeah, the.
We don't like to call that a doll.
Yeah,
but
action figure.
An oversized action figure.
It's an action
doll,
figure.
Man.
It was a doll. I had the Luke Skywalker doll.
But I had the Boba
I actually
Fett one.
probably still have the Luke Skywalker doll.
Do you really? That might be worth some money.
Oh,
Trashed.
It is so trashed. The hands chewed up from my dog, one of my dogs. I did something so stupid with that. That's actually kind of embarrassing. So I had the Luke Skywalker doll, and I was really into ninja stuff at the time too. When I got it, after I got it, and I wanted to make a ninja.
So you
my mom sewed, not my mom, my grandmother, sorry, sewed a ninja outfit for it, and I stripped it and took it off, and and then made a ninja outfit for this doll, for this Luke Skywalker doll, and I don't know where it is. It's last time I've seen it, so I know I still have it. It's in my garage somewhere,
right,
in a box somewhere. It's totally naked, the hands chewed up,
yeah,
and I don't know if it's worth anything. It might be worth something.
Probably not.
There's a channel out that I really enjoy watching. It's called Retro Blasting.
Yeah.
And it was one of the inspirations for this channel. And he has a pretty funny beginning. He talks about like Star Wars toys and Star Wars and nostalgia as well. But
does he actually have them and show them?
He has, yes. Okay. Sometimes he does, yes. Oh, he does have them. But one of the things he has is the king-size Darth Vader with the broken arms. And his arms are broken. They're not. It's not on purpose.
I didn't know that. Darth Vader's arms get broken.
But he plays with it. He gives it its own voice and stuff. It's pretty funny. I thought about contacting him and seeing if he wanted my naked Luke Skywalker or if anybody out there knows the guy from Retro Blasting, let him know that I would love to have him on the show or be on the show or whatever. I mean, I'm not that popular yet, but when I get popular and I get noticed, I'm gonna go on that show. That's one of my favorite shows. Is Retro Blasting. Huh. It's one of my favorite shows out there. But I want to be on his show, and then I want to show him my naked Luke Skywalker that's all chewed up, and he can have his broken Darth Vader, and we can talk about.
I had a bunch of Doctor Who stuff.
Oh, really?
Yes, I did. I had the talking K9, the motorized Dalek. I used to go to the Doctor Who conventions in California when I was a kid.
Well,
so I got into that too.
I know nothing about Doctor Who. I've never even seen one single episode, so I don't know anything.
Yeah, when I was a little kid, I got to meet. It was from the. I can't even remember his name now. The guy with the curly hair. What was his name?
I don't know.
The doctor with the big, thick, curly hair.
I do remember seeing him, but I have no idea who that is.
Anyways, one of his companions on the TARDIS was Sarah. I got to meet her.
Oh, okay.
At one of the conventions. Yeah.
That's cool.
They really do have English accents, too, in real life.
They're not just playing it on TV.
They're not just playing.
Dr. Spacetime is what he's kind of joking. We called
Dr. Spacetime.
Dr. Spacetime.
To be honest with you, that was probably only that I was watching it as it was being aired during that time. So yeah. I didn't get into the real old ones, and I quit following it. I guess the show is still running.
The show does fantastic. It's just something
the longest running TV show in history.
Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah. It's been...
Well, I didn't doubt it.
50 years it's been going on.
Right.
But, so that interested me, too. But back to the Star Wars toys.
But wait, they did have Doctor Who toys, though.
Yes, they did.
They did.
I had the... It's Tom Baker. That's his name. I had the action figure of him, and found out that it was worth quite a bit of money if it had the sonic screwdriver. Yeah.
And did you have that or
no?
not?
I lost that. And
but you sold it. Did you sell that stuff, or you don't know what happened?
I know exactly what happened to it. I gave them away. To somebody who was a Doctor Who fan.
Well, lucky them.
So, yeah. Had the books, the comics. I had all that stuff. This brings back a lot of memories.
Yeah.
So,
but back to I had the X-wing at one time.
Yep.
I know that. I had a land speeder.
I did too.
You had the land speeder.
I had a land speeder.
What else did I have? I had a lot of the action figures. I mean, tons of the action figures. I also had the bike, the indoor bike, the floating bike.
For me, by the time those were being produced,
The Jedi stuff.
I had basically was done with toys.
Yeah.
I was getting into my early teenage years, and so that was fading away.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I remember that stuff.
So did you have any of the larger stuff like? Oh, by the way, I had a friend who was a girl when I was little, and she had the king size
Leia,
Princess Leia.
Ah.
And I didn't know. I just thought it was part of her Barbie collection. Actually, it looked just like maybe. I mean, when I was a kid, I didn't know.
A mega-sized Barbie.
But maybe maybe if I looked at it now, I'd be able to tell the difference. But I had no idea. And she actually told me, like, no, that's actually Princess Leia. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
Now, did you have any of the lightsabers? Like the toy lightsabers, or what?
You mean the blow-up ones that had?
Okay, so there was the blow-up one. I remember that one came out.
Or the hard. Wait, there was a blow-up one, and then that sounds funny to say.
I know. The blow-up lightsaber, huh? You had that? Know what I'm talking about? No.
Let's see.
I had the blow-up lightsaber.
There was that one, but then wasn't there some hard plastic ones
Yes,
too?
there was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could whack somebody pretty good with those, but then they broke after a while. But.
They did, and they made a whistling sound.
Uh-huh.
They were horrible. And I'll tell you, so the blow-up one was I believe it only came in yellow, and mine kept like popping. Like I had to get new ones because they would keep popping, and you'd have to. I mean, just whatever.
It was designed that way, so the parents would keep buying.
I probably had at least two. I know I had at least two, perhaps three.
Okay.
But the handles weren't that cool.
No.
And it didn't look anything like the handles of the
real
lightsabers. I'm like, I don't know why they couldn't do that. And the other thing is, and this frustrates me across the brand, across the toys, and across the lightsabers that you actually got. You could not for the life of you get a blue lightsaber. They were yellow, green, and red.
Huh.
And it was, I think, Obi-Wan Kenobi, the original Obi-Wan Kenobi, when they had the ones that went in there and pushed. Remember the first ones? Luke had it too.
You're talking about the on the action figure.
On the action
figure.
figure.
Yeah. It had that little tab that you pushed forward.
Yeah. Okay. Yellow. Obi-Wan's was blue. That was the only one that ever had the blue, and then all the other ones after that, the Luke Skywalker, yellow lightsaber. I'm like, can you tell colors? Because this is a blue lightsaber.
Yeah.
I'm like, why can't I get a blue lightsaber?
I'm sure that was done on purpose for some reason.
You know what? There's been lots of theories about like why that happened and whatever, and like how like on the first pictures it was yellow, then like on the card stock it was yellow, and then so when they made the toys they made them yellow, and then they just never corrected for it. But by the time you get to Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi, the Jedi one, for a little bit they had one blue lightsaber that they came out with.
I bet you that's collectible.
And then it was green. So you could get green. When he finally got a green lightsaber, you could get a green lightsaber, but you could never get a dang blue lightsaber.
That would have been during Return of the Jedi, right?
Yes. Yeah. But you saw the Bespin Luke. Did you have the Bespin Luke? Is it Bespin or Vespin? I can't remember.
Bespin.
Mm-hmm.
I believe with the B. Yeah.
Did you have that Luke Skywalker action figure?
I don't remember.
Oh, I
had Snaggletooth.
Which one was he?
You have to look it up. I can't describe it. A little alien dude.
Oh, okay.
And I had Greedo.
Greedo.
But the one that I really liked, so the hard ones to get was like IG-88 and Bosk, one of the bounty hunters.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, those were the hard ones to get. That's what I kind of liked when they show you the new action figure and you had to cut out the proof of purchase to send in.
And did you sent it in?
Oh yeah.
For the Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just never took the time to do it. Yep. I should have, but I never did.
Yep, I saved the backings and the proof of purchase and sent them in.
That's really cool. So, I wish I would have done that, but I didn't.
That was,
they had a couple of them that they did that.
And I remember they weren't like the action figures back then. Weren't they like $2.99 or $1.99? They were pretty cheap. I was always mad though because I'd come up with exact change, and then when the clerk sold it to me, they'd add tax to it. I said, "What are you talking about, tax?" As a little kid, I'm arguing with them over the tax. I said, look at the price. It says $1.99.
I said, with tax, it's $1.05 or $1.03.
Yeah, or
then,
$2.15 or whatever it was. It's like, what?
Yeah, or $2.15
or whatever the tax rate in California was back then. But that always irritated me. It's
yeah,
like,
it
I have
always
to give more money,
too.
but the price tag says $1.99.
I used to remember when I was a kid. This is off subject, but because of that, because of the tax thing, like if you bought something under 5 cents, there's no tax on it because it's too low. So we'd get all these penny and 5-cent candies, and I'd make them ring it up one at a time. I wouldn't ring it up because if you ring it up all together, you'd get tax. More. And I would be like, no, I'm going to pay for this one. I'm going to pay for it. And they didn't like me. That was at 7-Eleven, actually. I remember going to 7-Eleven because they had the bottom row was full of 1 cent and 5-cent candies.
I remember that.
And I would get those candies. I'd bring them up, and I one at a time, 5 cents, 1 cent, and then there was no tax that way. But
well, you could do 5 1-cent candies.
Yeah, you could do that. So I can't remember exactly the exact number, but I remember if it was either under 10 cents or under 5 cents, there was no tax. But so I would make them ring them up one at a time.
The audience is getting a cornucopia of discussion.
It's okay. It's all good. So one of my biggest regrets that I have, and I really don't know, I've never even actually looked this up, and we talked about this last time, and that is for one of my birthdays one time, I got some cast iron play sets of Empire Strikes Back. It was 2 of them. They were miniatures, and they were cast iron.
Oh yeah, I remember
and one
those.
of them, and I think they were both on Bespin, but they were different parts of Bespin, and it was the lightsaber duel. Okay, but here's
I remember the little die-cast metal.
Yeah.
The ships.
Yes.
Yeah.
They had
That was the only Y-wing I ever had. I always wanted them to come out with a full-sized Y-wing.
Did they not have it? They never had a full-size Y-wing.
Well, not when I was getting the toys.
I see. Yeah.
But and so I remember that, but I ended up with the die-cast one.
Yeah.
So I do remember that.
But they were Empire Strikes Back ones.
Oh, and it had a little bomb underneath, and you press the button and it dropped the.
Oh yeah. Right on. But inside the box, there was a small certificate that was like about this big, like certificate size, that said the next movie, Revenge of the Jedi. I had 2 of them, and they were like little certificate things. They weren't the big posters. I know that they were.
So it didn't say Return of the Jedi.
It said Revenge of the Jedi.
Revenge of the Jedi.
And there were 2 of them, and I had them, and I don't know what happened.
Oh, I bet you those could be worth something.
Yeah, because I don't think that there were, even I think they'd be worth more than the posters. Remember when they came out with the poster Revenge of the Jedi? Lucas was buying them back for $1,000 a piece.
Okay.
People were buying them for like $5, whatever poster was going for those days. But if it said Revenge of the Jedi, because they let some posters go with Revenge of the Jedi on it, and they were getting called back, and he would pay $1,000.
Really?
For one of those. So if you've got, that was at the time.
If we had only known.
Right. And I actually got those.
I would have been a rich kid.
Yes. I actually got those little certificates after Return of the Jedi came out.
Really?
Yes. It was a box.
Somebody missed it.
Well, it was a toy, and it came in the toy.
Yeah.
And the toy had just been sitting on the shelf and not been sold.
Right.
And so somebody bought it for me as a birthday present because I was into Star Wars stuff after Return of the Jedi came out, and I opened it up, and I knew it was worth money. And I even remember actually where I kept it for a while. But I went back. I think...
That would have been like Willy Wonka's golden ticket.
Oh, gosh. Who knows how many hundreds of thousands of dollars that thing would have been worth back then. So, anyway, so did you have more than one Stormtrooper?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had several Stormtroopers.
Did you try to collect them? Because that was like, what always frustrated me is I had a Luke Skywalker in this, and then I had one Stormtrooper, and as I was playing with it, had to play double duty.
Yeah. Had to have more than one Stormtroopers. I probably had, 3 or 4 of them.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I've got a couple of them original from still kicking around. I've got that little box droid that had the feet on it, like the flat feet.
Yeah,
that would
yeah,
move
yeah,
across.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know what that's worth, but I got that one from
And it's a Kenner.
Yeah, it's Kenner, absolutely Kenner. And then I did have a few of the, but you were not into it at the time, the barge scene from
I didn't have any of those.
Return of the
Yeah.
Jedi. And the reason why is because when they stopped making them, and I didn't know they were going to be really, like, they were the only ones that were left over at the place I'd buy Star Wars toys. They had a collection of Star Wars toys at the place I'd buy them regularly. And so all the Luke Skywalkers and Han Solos and Princess Leia's and Chewbacca's and all that was gone, but they had a bunch of these miscellaneous toys. And one of them that I picked up was that guy that's got the scarf across. He was on the barge. He was he was on the skiff, not the
Yeah,
barge.
I remember that one. Going back to the larger vehicles or
Okay.
the Starcraft or whatever fighters, I had a snow speeder.
Oh yeah. I was going to actually
I had a snow
talk
speeder.
about that. The snow speeder.
Yep.
With the guy that set in it the opposite way. I had a
Yeah,
snow
with the
speeder too.
not co-pilot, the gunner.
The gunner.
Yeah. Yeah, the tow gunner. Remember, it had the tow that went out.
Yeah, I do. It
The
had
grappling. Yeah.
Did it have a string on it?
It did.
I believe it did. I'm not always sure.
I'm pretty
about
sure
that.
it did. Pretty sure it did.
So let's move into Star Wars toys that you. Well, are there other Star Wars toys you had?
I'm trying to think if there was any oddball stuff.
Action figures. Did you have all the action figures? Did you have the one? Remember?
There came a point again, as I was growing older, I stopped collecting them. But in the initial, it was every single one I could get my hand on.
Yeah.
And they'd always sell out, and you'd have to be there early, and
Did you have the C-3PO that came apart? Or were you, remember, because in Empire Strikes
here's
Back.
one for you. Let's see if you remember this one. Maybe some of you do. The Droid Factory. Had the Droid Factory, and you'd put them together.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh,
You have to look it up. Look it up on, Google it or something. But
the Droid Factory.
yeah, the Droid Factory. There you go.
Huh.
Look at this. It stumped you.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, it had all kinds of little pieces, parts to it, and it was called I think it was called the Droid Factory.
Huh.
But look it up. See if you can find it.
That'll be interesting.
Yep.
So.
And
okay.
I didn't have this one. A buddy of mine had it. The transport. It's like a speeder, but it's an armored transport, and you put the stormtroopers along the side. They had like little compartments that would hold the soldier, the stormtroopers.
It was a transport.
And it was a transport, and actually, that is portrayed in one of the recent episodes. I think 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago of The Mandalorian. They have a troop transport, but it's like a big speeder type of vehicle. But it's like a square box. It looks like it would be armored, and it had these little compartments along the side that you stuck the action figures in. And I think the back end opened up on it too, so you could put stuff in there.
Okay, so this kind of leads me into the next subject, and that is Star Wars toys that you didn't have that you wanted. What were some of those? I'll get started.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I remember clearly, and this was the fourth grade. I remember it was the fourth grade, and I was just like, where are these people? Where are these rich kids getting their money from? No, but because I had a lot of Star Wars toys too. But you know how you are when you're a kid and you don't have something.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you have. You want what you don't have.
Yeah, that's it.
He had the AT-AT. He had the big, the AT-AT, the big one.
See, I never saw those.
Oh, you never even seen one?
I don't even
He
think.
brought it to school on show and tell day, and I was green.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what the? I want that so bad. It's like it was crazy how badly I wanted that thing. That was so cool.
No, I wasn't collecting them at that point that one came out.
And
So, or
really?
at least then
Because
I
it was
can
Empire
think of-
Strikes Back.
Yeah, it was. Well, I don't remember.
Yeah. Do you remember that toy though, or what?
I don't even remember.
I
the
think
toy.
it was the size of a small dog. You know, of course, to me as a kid, as a fourth grader, it
Imagine
was
him
huge.
doing a walker.
Yeah, you know, it was
As big as the table. You know?
Yeah, it was huge, but I mean, it was a pretty stout toy. You know, it was a pretty stout, and it was pretty cool.
I don't remember that one. I do remember, though, always saying to myself, things you would see in the movie, go, they need to make that as a toy.
Like what?
Well, one of them was a walker and the AT-AT. But so it must have been before they introduced the AT-AT.
Yeah, they had the walker too.
The AT-AT. That was the what was the AT-AT?
The big on Hoth.
The big one, or they did have that one.
Yes, that's the one I'm talking about. It's huge.
Gosh, I don't remember it.
I only ever saw one.
I thought you were
real
talking.
life.
I'm sorry. I thought he was talking about the Scout Walker.
Oh, the Scout Walker. No, they had those too, but
Okay.
I never got. I never
had.
I
those.
wanted everything, but you know, I
Never did have one of those. As far as toys that, I don't know. Between me and my friend, I think we pretty much had them all.
So
there were things he had that I didn't have, and vice versa.
That's cool.
So
That's cool. Well, I am green with envy with that.
the walker, they actually did a full.
Yeah, they did a full size walker. The other one that they had, that I don't know if I can't remember if I saw it or not. I know I saw a commercial
I just
for
don't
it,
remember it.
and it was the transporter of the Rebel transporter. You know, when they're going off of Hoth, and it says the first transport unit has gotten through, and they're like, yay!
Yeah, those oblong shapes.
They had one of those
Did
too.
they really?
Yeah.
See, that's
it
something
opened up. It was really more like to put your Star Wars toys in.
Oh, it was a carrier.
Yeah, a carrier. I mean, you could fit like tons because it's supposed to be a transport unit
Right.
to get rid of it. You know, to get people out from beyond the Empire.
Right,
or whatever.
right. No, I never had any of those.
And so the carrying case too. I always wanted one of those.
The Darth Vader one?
Yeah, they had Darth Vader, and I don't know if it was later or not, but they did have C-3PO.
Vaguely, I may remember that.
Do you remember the Darth Vader one though?
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah.
But speaking of oversized toys,
Okay.
This is going off subject, but I had the full-sized the Alien.
Alien.
I had the full-size Alien. My mom and stepdad, they didn't have the greatest discernment in which to take me to movies, so they didn't have a babysitter. So I went along and saw Alien. Oh my gosh, that terrified me.
How's that 78 or 7?
Yeah,
Did it come out before or after Star Wars?
It must have been 78. It was right on the heels.
Okay.
And that movie just terrified me. But for some reason, I was fascinated with the alien monster.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd gotten one of those. The thing was probably about that big.
Yeah.
And you press the back of its head. You know how they have.
Was it supposed to be like a toy, or was it?
It was a toy.
Or was it like?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And you could buy the crew members of the Nostromo.
You're kidding.
I
didn't know
and they
this.
were full size, like the Boba Fett and the Princess Leia and the Luke Skywalker, and they were full size. But the alien was, you'd press the back of its head. There was a lever, and you'd press it, and the jaw would drop, and the mouth would shoot out. And it was cool because at night I'd have it in my room, and the head was kind of translucent, the top of the head, and it would glow.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and it had patterns like alien brains, I guess, or whatever. And I remember I'd have to go throw that thing in my closet.
Because it scared you.
It scared me.
Yeah, having it there.
Yeah. That was creepy, though. I'd walk into the room, and that thing would be sitting there, and it'd be like...
Yeah. Well, there's some pretty messed up movies that kids actually did get to watch. I remember watching some messed up movies. It's going to get off the subject. I'm actually going to
Exorcist.
I'm going to actually do well. Just no movies that were for kids that were kind of messed up, like Watership Down, about the rabbits.
Oh yeah, they're depressing and stuff.
And Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
That's a crazy show.
Pulling out the beating heart.
Yeah,
and all that,
yeah. And I watched that as a kid. It was just like, and I remember I was just like, my conscience is seared.
When did Jaws come out? 75?
Yeah.
I think that was 75. So they took me to see Jaws. I'm like 5 to 6 years old.
Jeez.
And I'll tell you what, man. It took me till the time I was 10 years old to be able to put the stopper in the bathtub.
Really?
To this day, I don't. To this day, I don't like the ocean.
Did you think?
It imprinted that heavily on me.
Well, yeah, when you see something that young.
Yeah,
But really,
and for its time, those movies in the 70s, Jaws, Star Wars, Alien, those movies were groundbreaking in movie making, you know.
Yeah, they were, for sure, for sure.
Now we look back on it and we see Jaws and we go, oh, look how fake that looks and everything. But at the time,
we're going to do that with everything.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to the shows that are coming out now. We're going to look back on those.
I will say this though, the CGI on Mandalorian.
It's great. It's
pretty
really
it's
good.
pretty dang good.
It's really good. Well, one of the things I don't like about not the original, but the prequel Star Wars is the CGI. It does not hold up well at all. The CGI just doesn't hold up well with the prequels, with Yoda and all those guys.
You know, looking back on that, and we're all over the place with this, but we're having fun. Looking back on like the original Star Wars. Okay, you can tell when the X-Wings are coming in and various certain scenes, you can tell that they're models.
Mm-hmm.
However, the appreciation that you have to have for them actually building this stuff at scale and taking the way they had to do the camera work on it and the explosions going off, very labor intensive. You kind of got to give it to them on that.
It's so awesome. I used to watch behind the scenes of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And look at how they did that, the special effects and stuff, and I used to be just green with envy over those things.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to have those models.
Now it's all computer generated, so I mean,
it's easier that way. It's computer generated.
It takes somebody that knows what they're doing with the software and everything. And granted, okay, we get it, but back then they had to do it basically on set with costumes, models, and everything else. And that was pretty impressive for its time.
Well, one of the things that Lucas, well, I heard that Lucas said this was one of the reasons why it took him so long to come out with the prequels is because there were some things that you just couldn't make a puppet do that you can make, like Yoda, for example.
Right.
You can't have Yoda fight if he's a puppet. It's going to look horrible for him to fight, but as a computer animated thing, you can make him fight.
Yeah.
But that just doesn't hold up that well. It just doesn't hold up well, especially those ones don't hold up as well.
Yeah, the CGI technology from the time within the short years, those were the 2000s. Those came out.
98, 99, I think, is when.
Was that Phantom Menace came out?
Came out, so then 2000.
I did. By the way, I did not like that one at all.
Nah.
That one was terrible in my opinion.
I have mixed feelings about it.
Do you?
I do. I like it. Well, let me put it this way. I didn't like Jar Jar Binks.
No, that was an Ewok deal.
Yeah, that was an Ewok deal. Yeah. And I feel bad saying this because the guy who played Jar Jar Binks wanted to commit suicide after all the negative reviews came out, and I don't want to pile on that person.
Oh, right.
Because it's sad, but
yeah, but he took a job, and that's what Lucas wanted. So I don't, he's taking it too personal.
He is. He needs to toughen up a bit.
And all he needed to do was hopefully. He was well compensated for it, and all he needed to do was look at his bank account and said, bad review, not bad review. It's okay. Who cares?
Yeah, the Jar Jar Binks thing I could not stand. I'm sorry, I couldn't stand it. However, I did. There were certain elements of that original one that I liked, and certain elements that I hated. But it was a mixed bag for me. It wasn't just totally hated. I enjoyed
the little part with Liam Neeson in it. That was all right.
I think Liam Neeson did a good job.
Yeah.
I think Ewan McGregor did a good job. I didn't hate the story. I thought the story was okay. It seemed a little rip-offish. They keep ripping off the first one.
Well, sure.
It just keeps doing that. But, of course, Jake Lloyd was annoying. But
who?
The Anakin.
Oh.
Jake Lloyd. He was just a kid, and he's taking direction. Mm-hmm. He's saying, say it like this, say it like this. I think everything that...
there was a lot of bad acting.
Yeah, well...
But there was in the first ones too.
Yeah, but a lot of that was George Lucas. It's not really, you can't really say that it's the actors. I mean, George Lucas is the one ultimately saying, say it this way.
This way, right.
I mean, an actor really, people don't understand this. People think that unless you're like a Jim Carrey or something, you know, and you kind of just do it your own way anyway, the director really tells you how to say the lines. Say it with more emotion, say it with more fear, say it with more this, until they get it down right the way they want it. So, I mean, ultimately, Lucas was the one who was saying, no, you got to say it more like an 8th grade school actor.
He really did. Looking back on it, you know, you could have done a more, don't take this wrong, but a more adult version of the Star Wars story, as far as being a little darker, a little grittier,
right?
Which is one of the reasons why I did like Rogue One. All the characters that were built up, you started getting a connection with, and then everybody dies.
Yeah. It's sad.
All the good guys ended up dying in it, and you know what? In real life, you know, if you check the history on whatever French Resistance or you know, in real life, a lot of good people were tortured, killed, and everything else. So in this case, it had that little bit of darker feel to it, especially with the explosion at the end, and you know, and which ties right into Leia saying, you know, a lot of spies, you know, gave up their life to get us this information, type of thing. Yeah. So I did like that one. That was probably my favorite backstory film.
Mine too. I like that one a lot too. It was really good.
But Solo wasn't bad either, though.
Yeah, so I thought Solo was great.
Yeah.
I really did. I mean, there's funny parts in it, but
it had some more gritty type.
But it was a good movie. Yeah. I mean, it really was.
The woman he liked, man, she ended up, you know, working the way she did.
Yeah, that kind of sucked. But but everything, like all the kind of childish stuff you can see in the original Star Wars, it's just not as elaborated. It's just not as, I mean, you had not the Wookiees, but the Jawas and stuff like that. But I didn't hate it because it wasn't over the top. It was actually really good. But you can see it's starting to grow to where
in that direction.
Yeah, to where the time you get to Return of the Jedi.
I don't think Empire did though.
No, well, he didn't direct Empire.
Oh, okay.
He didn't direct Empire.
Yeah, Empire was kind of a little bit on the darker side.
It was much more on the darker side, and that's why it's one of everybody's favorite shows. I mean, it's up there. It's really up there as far as favorite shows, as far as favorite movies. Yeah, well, it was
the rebellion. You know, the rebellion on the run.
Right,
basically. But then, when Jedi came out, there was just some, I don't know.
So what other toys did you have that weren't Star Wars? What would be like your second biggest collection be?
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Doctor Who.
Doctor Who. Mine would have been G.I. Joe.
Okay.
But you probably were out of G.I. Joe by the time those action figures, but by the time those the small action figures came out.
I had...
My favorite was Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow.
I did not get into that aspect of G.I. Joe. I did have a G.I. Joe that a cousin gave me, but it was the American Soldier G.I. Joe.
The tall one?
Yeah, but he had the scruffy beard.
Yeah.
And, but he had his, the rifle and everything. But he was a regular soldier, so it wasn't the modern take on G.I. Joe. It was the old version of
You mean
G.I.
the
Joe.
original, not the old? I mean, not the modern. Because I'm talking about the 80s cartoon.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the 80s cartoon.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
the 80s
the
cartoon.
original.
I had quite a few of those.
Well, that was kind of, they kind of threw in a little, sci-fi /
ninja stuff.
Ninja stuff, yeah. No, I'm talking about the original G.I. Joes.
Yeah, the tall ones.
That portrayed an American soldier.
Yeah, right on.
World War II era soldier, that type of thing. So, I had one of those when I was a kid. A cousin gave me one.
You know what? What they action figures that they had that I got to see one time. I went over to this kid's house. He was the stingiest kid. I couldn't believe it. I mean, he wasn't a friend of mine. I knew him from school, and for some reason, I went over to
He
his
wouldn't let you
house.
touch anything, would he?
Yeah,
He was one of those kids.
yeah. I mean, he touched it, but he was just
Nobody else could play with it.
Yeah, I was just like, "What are you?" He's like, "No, you can't have it. You can't play with it. You can't see it." I'm like,
I know.
like it was really kind of foreign to me because I had never met. I was not like that with my toys. I'm like, "Sure, let's play." You know,
Yeah,
it's whatever. But he had something I really wanted to handle.
Yeah.
What
was it?
It was Clash of the Titans.
No,
The toy set, Clash of the Titans.
Really?
You know, they had the Pegasus and the
Yeah.
Clash of the Titans, and then the devil figure or whatever
Yeah.
it was. He had
never
those.
got into that one.
Yeah, he had those, but it was crazy. It was crazy that he had them. So I mean, but he was crazy that he wouldn't let me touch them. I mean, I remember them coming out and wanting to see them. Also, E.T. Do you remember any of the E.T. toys?
No.
No, you don't remember any of the E.T. toys?
Don't remember the toys.
What about the video games? What about the Star Wars video games? Were you into that at all? Did you play that in the arcade? Do you remember that one? I remember this so clearly. It was the very first one that I ever did where you could actually sit down in the...
Yes. Yes, I do now.
And you were Luke Skywalker, and you had to blow up the Death Star.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the trench scene, basically.
Yeah.
You remember that one? Did you ever play that? Or no?
The one that I remember, though, seemed to have stormtroopers in it, though. They may have made several of them.
This is after. I'm talking. This is in the arcades. This is like 1980s.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking arcades, but I remember Star Wars arcade games. Let's see, I'm showing my age now.
No, you don't remember.
I don't quite remember, but I do remember one with stormtroopers that you would play, but I don't really remember the trench scene.
Oh yeah, it was cool because it was all that kind of.
You're sitting in the.
You're sitting in it, but it was the animation was like those green lines. Remember those old, like almost from Tron, almost like except for they were green.
Yeah, with you mean with the sight?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, with the sight and stuff like that.
Now I remember.
And you hold it like this. They had a stand-up version too, but the one you could sit down in was
like you're in an X-wing.
Yeah, like you're in an X-wing. That was fantastic. I spent all my money at the arcade. I used to hang out at the arcade so much actually that they would give me tokens. I was friends with them.
Oh, cool.
But they knew I'd come back because they knew I would be spending all my
Spare
money
change.
there. Yeah, I would. Because I would come back. I'd get down there. My $5 a week that I get for allowance or whatever, I'd go down there, and I remember they had a deal because you could use $1, and instead of having 4 quarters, they'd give you 6 tokens.
Okay.
So you could play 6 games for $1, and but I'd spend it there, and then every little change that I got, I'd go down and trade them in and spend it. But I knew the people so well that eventually what they did was I'd go down and hang out, talk with them. They'd be like, "Oh, here's some tokens. Go play." Yeah, because they knew I would be down there giving them money. So I don't know if they did that with anybody else, but
they were
really
like
nice
dealers, handing out little sample drugs.
Yeah, here you go. Here you go, kid. All right. Well, we didn't get to talk too much about Star Wars the movies a little bit. We talked more about the toys and other things.
Yeah, we were all over the landscape, but you know what? But it was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Enjoyed it.
All right, thank you for joining me on this episode of Retro Serial. If you like this, please hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't like it, hit the thumbs down button twice. That'll let me know that you don't like it. Share this on your favorite social media, and if you're interested in supporting the program, I will leave a link to the Buy Me a Coffee page where you can donate some of your hard-earned cash to what we're doing here. As you can see, we've made some upgrades. I got some microphones. I've had these for a couple episodes now, but I'm always making upgrades, and every little bit helps. So if you want to donate to the program that way, it would be much appreciated. Thank you, Jason.
It was my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Well, now, next time we're going to talk about war movies.
Let's do more movies next time. And then, and just want to say Merry Christmas to everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Take care.
See ya.
Once again, thanks for tuning into this episode of Retro Serial. If you're a podcast listener only, just a reminder, we do have a YouTube page where we have exclusive YouTube content. So head on over there. If you like what we're doing here, you're going to like what we're doing there. And if you're already on YouTube and you like this video, you'll like these videos too.